is just like money. Because without your signature being on an application for a loan, student loan, credit card, mortgage note, line of credit, whatever it is, right? The bank cannot create money. The bank does not take depository money that people have in their bank and loan out to us. And remember you was indicating that you believe that the money comes from people's deposits? It doesn't. The loans doesn't come from their deposits. So the next question is, to everyone here, is if the loans don't come from the deposits, then how are the banks loaning the money? Yes?
Off potential earnings, I guess, based on the people, like your name, I guess.
Okay, off of potential earnings based on the people. Okay, any other thoughts on that?
Well,
yes.
The banks invest the money, for example, they may invest their money for, let's say, 5%, but they'll only give you 2%.
Okay.
If you're investing with them. So they're making money off your investment, and they, whatever they do with that extra 2% or 3% that they made, they probably loan it, I guess.
Any other thoughts on that from anyone?
I thought it was always other people's money.
Okay. You always thought it was other people's money. Well, let me tell you where the bank gets the money from, so that you'll be clear. And then you can make an intelligent decision to say, well, is this honest banking or isn't it? They call it fractional reserve banking. This is what they call it. And all that means is we can take the debt instruments that's signed and we can expand them into money. So for example, if you want to take a loan out for $100,000 to go to school, and you fill the application out and you give it to me and we exchange the application, I can take the application, which is $100,000 worth of responsibility that you're committing. You sign your signature on the bottom. I can endorse that instrument as a bank, and I can deposit it into my transaction account that I create for you. And then I can take it to the open market window, which is another window where the bank's got all these different places that they can go and broker their paper off. And now I go there, and now I go times 9. So I took your $100,000 note that you signed, I endorsed it. It's a conversion process, which the general population doesn't know anything about this. I go to the open market window. Now I'm going to take that $100,000 note that you signed, like the brother was saying, to make you responsible, that instrument, times 9. They're going to give me 900,000 credits for your paper. And then I'm going to come back and give you a loan for $100,000. Now, the next question is, for you all, is, does anyone understand what I just said, or don't understand what I just said?
Well, are you saying that the bank multiplies that 100,000 by 9?
That's correct. The bank multiplies that times 9. But what they receive is not money as we classify in the Federal Reserve notes that we have in our pocket, right? But they get 900,000 in credits.
What does that mean in terms of money for them?
Well, it means that they have $900,000 in credit. So that means if they have $900,000 in credit,
they don't need
for them to come and give you $100,000 of those credits is very easy, isn't it? And then they have 800,000 in credits that they can retain and do whatever they choose to off of your $100,000 note that you signed, or your application, whatever it was, if it was for a mortgage or a car, whatever. Even the credit card companies do the same thing. So how is it possible that they can expand these notes into credit when they don't have any money from borrowers sitting in their bank account, and then make you responsible for something that they didn't put up? Does anyone understand what I just said there? They didn't put anything up. They don't have anything to lose if you don't pay them.
Well, that's why they had the bailout.
Well, the bailout is just another ripoff. Yeah,
Well, that's the thing.
yeah.
Like, it
It's
was
a
just
bailout.
them selling loans and everything.
It's like selling air.
Yeah, it's like selling air, right? It's like selling air. So what we have is we have a system where the financial institutions are allowed to create money off of signatures. So that's why in my book, Signatures versus Endorsements is very important to understand what they're doing. Because the thing is, you can actually protect your signature when you're signing documents. So in the event where they continue to do these further negotiations, you can say, well, I didn't have any knowledge at all that you were going to do all that. You didn't say anything about any of that stuff in the application that I signed. Where is it? Under the Truth in Lending regulations, you're supposed to be able to see that. So that means that if money is being created off of our instruments, the next question is, and we'll see who can answer this, is who was the lender? That's a question. Who was the lender? If the bank goes through all that process, who was the lender?
Government.
Say it again?
The gov.
Who was the lender? Think about it for a minute. Now we have to think. Think about it. Who was the lender?
The conglomerate of people in power, I don't know.
No, listen. I give you the application. You fill it out. You fill out the application. You sign it. You give it to me. Right? Now I'm going to expand it. I'm going to go get what you want. You want credit. This is what you want. I'm going to go get that for you. You fill out the application. You exchange it with me. I go get you the credit. I'll bring it back and say, here. Now, remember, I didn't get the credit or the money from anybody.
We're the lenders.
Say that again?
We're the lenders because with our we lent them the ability to get the $900,000 off of our initial SIG.
Say that again? Who's the lender?
We're the lenders.
We are the lenders. Did y'all hear what he said? We are the lenders. People say, oh, wait a minute, well, how can you be the lender? Because you did what? You filled out the application, you signed it, you exchanged it with the financial institution. They didn't have any money. They didn't have any credits. They didn't have any of that stuff before you exchanged the signature on the debt instrument with them, which was the application for the car, the mortgage, the credit card, or whatever it is you was borrowing. They didn't have any money. So that means that we are the lenders when we sign the debt instruments, because the bank creates the money off of the paper you signed. Now I got a problem with that. And I've had a problem with that for some time, and I've been doing some things about that problem. Yes?
So would you say then that this is the purpose of your workshop? Because I'm so sorry I missed the first 5 minutes, and I'm not sure where we're going with it.
Well, the purpose of the workshop is to kind of really find out, one of the questions that we asked earlier was, what type of financial challenges are you currently looking at that you have and you may have in the future that you're concerned about? And then we went around and everybody kind of like said what it is, what type of challenges they may have, or what their concerns were in the future. So the ones that came in late, you know, you can have the opportunity to express that. What kind of financial concerns do you have now?
Well, I'm just really concerned about retirement and not, enough money for retirement, and looking at trying to join an investment club to kind of speed up that process.
Okay. So those are some of the concerns that you have now?
Right.
Okay.
Primary.
Anyone else? What type of concerns do you have?
Thank you. Likewise, retirement and being able to afford bills, having made incorrect decisions during the process when money was abundant, and now when money is a little scarce, and also being stamped bad credit. Right. You know, so just trying to learn how to orchestrate through the madness.
Through the maze.
Yes.
It's a maze.
And also maintain the ability to sustain myself.
Okay, that's good. Well, because we all, yes, go ahead.
My bad. You know, just establishing credit reestablish credit through like or making better credit through like, you know, the credit traps that was already set out there, like the school loans and the stuff like that, and just trying to repair it and then move forward and get better credit, I guess, or
that's interesting you said that. Did you hear what he said? He said credit traps. You can all move up. He said credit traps. Now, why would you say credit traps? Think about that. That's a very good assessment that you just stated. That statement, credit traps.
You know, it's just a backwards.
You finish school, then you go out to the field of work, and then you don't earn enough money to pay the loan back.
Right.
That's a credit trap. So the thing is now, can we save up enough money to do what we need to do in this society in a relatively sensible period of time to say if we want to buy a car, or you want to buy a house, or you want to do or you want to go to school? All right, the tuition for that is ridiculous. All right, or say you want to save up money for retirement, and you want to have a consistent retirement program where you put money into a fund consistently, and then you know that the fund is going to be protected. It's not going to go complunk. It's not going to go, or they're not going to go out of business and take your money, and then all your savings is gone. Right? Because that's what's going on. So right now, the economic climate is not stable. It isn't. It really isn't. And right now, it's really not stable.
Yeah, with the government shutdown. Right?
Oh, yeah. If it goes to the 17th, it's going to be a serious problem in this country. I don't know if people are looking at that.
Yeah,
but if it goes to the 17th of this month and they don't reach that debt ceiling, and they're going to start cutting off all this financial programs that you see around, they're going to start cutting them off. And I guarantee you, it's going to create chaos. It really is. See, so the thing is, right now, we need to be kind of like looking at, well, if that takes place, what are we going to do?
Right.
What are we going to do? If people don't have money to go to the supermarket to take care of their children and feed them and to do the things, senior citizens don't have the funds that they need to do to continue to live their lives based on the programs that they have us locked into, where the government is funding each month, giving us checks every month that we put into a program, Social Security. What if Social Security checks don't come out and get cut off? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's going to be a serious problem. See, so how do we look at what's going on now in the future and what we're going to kind of like try to do or put ourselves in a position, because the supermarkets only have enough food to last for no longer than 3 weeks tops. If they don't get a shipment, the supermarkets, they don't have any food on the shelves. So how will we eat if there's no food on the shelves? But if there's no funds circulating where people can spend to take care of themselves, it's going to be chaotic. So we have a lot of concerns right now in a lot of areas that we really need to look at. It's just that the traps that they have put us all in, and they have put us in these traps deliberately. These have been deliberately calculated traps. Everybody's in the economic situation by design, not as a result of you making bad choices. It's a result of them designing a system that deliberately put us in economic hardship. Because your labor belongs to you and not the government. So that means if you go to work and you make $5, and I'll come and say, oh, wait a minute, you got to give me $2 of that, but I didn't do any work, then, oh, wait a minute, you didn't help me do this, so why should you get, well, we got to run the government, you see, we need the money. Well, if you need the money, and you're making the money out of thin air, and you guys are spending money like cowboys, I mean, for bombs and weapons and all that, and closing schools down, and schools don't have libraries in them, but you're over here making war, making murder machines.
They're using our money, not even in our best interest.
No, but they're using our money for that. That's what they say they're taking it for. They make murder machines. But the children and the families, but you're building more prisons so you can lock people up and sell prison bonds on Wall Street. Come on. For everyone that's locked up, they create a bond on that person's body. They put them bundle them up in a pool, and then they send them to Wall Street to be negotiated on the market. Then they got people buying them. They call them prison bonds. This is one of the fastest growing industries in the United States right now. It's locking people up.
That's right.
So it means if you close the schools and shut them down, that means you're going to do what? You're going to put a whole bunch of children on the street running around, and they're going to kill each other and commit crime. You're going to lock them up, put bonds on them, put them in jail, work them for 75 cents a day, and then you sitting here telling us that, well, wow, well, we your government, and we're gonna look out for you. And the whole time you're talking about, well, we shut down now, and we ain't gonna spend no money, and if it ain't resolved by the 17th, then what we're going to do is we're going to pop goes the weasel, because then we're going to start shutting down all these other financial funding programs, and it's going to affect millions of people. It will be a reality. And guess what? It will be a pop goes the weasel.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that.
But it's only a quick fix, even if it's fixed for the 17th, because this government is gone.
Well, the thing is, it will slow up the downfall. Let's put it like that. In other words, if they don't do that little fix,
right,
it's going to be a problem. It's about we can exploit humanity because as long as the people are ignorant of how their government operates and what their government is doing, that means they continue to exploit the people. And what they're looking at, the human resource is the best resource on the planet. So if you can control that, you can control wealth. Because human resources does what? Work. It has labor. It can go out. It can dig. It can operate machines and take gold, diamonds, and oil out the ground. So if you can control human labor, then that means you can control the destiny of the people. And that's what's going on the continents. They're controlling human labor. So that means that, does your labor belong to you, or does it belong to them? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, because what it is when you go to work, you have to do what?
Work for them.
You know, you want to try to save money so you can have retirement. You want to save money so you can go to school. You want to save money so that you can do the things in your life so that you can have a productive life. How hard is it for you to do that right now? So, somebody tell me right now where they can save money up to go to college. Or save money up to put into an investment fund so that you can retire down the road. Tell me how hard it is. Do you have enough money for real right now to do that?
No.
Acrobat. Are you looking for it? Where are you going to get the money from to do that?
Well, that's how we're here.
10 minutes? Okay. No, I'm saying, in other words, what I'm saying is, this is what you have to consider.
Right.
You have to consider the things that you can do with your skills, whatever skills you have, to generate extra money without government interference. Did you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. You're going to have to get creative. You have to become creative in your thinking, creative with your skills. If you don't have some, if you do have some, you need to...
marketable skills.
Right. But you got to remember now, we're in a consumer society.
Right.
They consume whatever you can come up with.
Right.
So you have to come up with some creativity to create some type of product or service that you can market so that you can generate additional revenue without government interference. Now you can do what? You can manage those funds the way you see fit. Because if you're tied into any type of institution, paperwork-wise, where they're regulating your salary or income or whatever classification you want to use there, then that means that the government is going to say, okay, well, we need our cut. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week for our cut too, and the week after that. And the month after that too, and the year after that. So that means year after year after year, we're going to continue to get our cut from you off of your labor.
Sound like the mob.
So you're talking about creating something where you're not paying taxes?
Well, I didn't say that. It's impossible for you to live in America without paying taxes. You're going to pay taxes all the time. You're paying taxes even if you're not collecting a paycheck. Okay? If you're not collecting a paycheck, you're paying taxes. The goods and services and things that we purchase right now here in America is taxed. You're going to always pay a tax. You understand? So when someone says, well, oh, well, wow, I can generate some money without paying taxes, that's impossible. You're going to pay some taxes. What you're saying is generating some income to allow you to make choices on what you want to do with it. Opposed to the government interfering with you saying, well, you made $100 today and we need you to give us 25. You understand? Because the labor that you created with is not taxable. Your labor is not taxable. But they tax it because the way that the system is set up, you have agreed for them to take taxes from you when you filled out those forms that they give you when you get your job. It says, how many exemptions do you have? And then you sign it. And then they say, well, if you don't sign this form right here, we're not going to give you a job. So you're forced to do it. You understand what I'm saying? Right. But your labor is not taxable because it was given to you by God. And God didn't say that if you go out and paint somebody's house that you're supposed to get them a cut and they didn't do any work. Right. You understand what I'm saying? So it means if you create a product or create a service for yourself to generate extra income, money, funds, whatever it is, That's your business. That's private. I don't have anything to do with that. The government don't have anything to do with you doing that. Not unless you want to sign up. Say, well, you know, I made 45 dresses this week, and I generated $2,500, and I want to let y'all know that. They're gonna say, oh wow, we love you. We can take, you can give us 400 that, please, and thank you. Now, why would you do something like that? Would you do something like that? I wouldn't. So that's how we're gonna have to look at getting extra funds to do what we need to do, because the funds that we have don't even satisfy our basic needs. So that means that if we think, and we can think, and we're very creative, we got creative minds. These people can't stop us. That's one of the biggest fears they have, is our creativity. As long as they keep us hating each other and pulling against each other, that means now that's going to, not what? That's not going to bind us so that we can start to do our own economics amongst ourselves.
Yeah, and they always have stolen our creativity.
Oh, of course. And they've used our inventions and everything. But have you controlled your labor over the years? And then what are you going to do in the future? And if it does, like you indicated, crash in terms of the 17th or whatever, and, you know, the government says we're not going to give nobody no more money. What are your plans going to be in the future? How are you going to weather that storm? How are you going to weather that storm? Think about it, because they don't resolve that situation. It's only going to get worse.
So you've got to become creative.
You got to come. If not, you know how you going to eat. You know? Yes, sir.
I mean, I belong to a nation that we don't pay taxes.
That's good.
We're not taxes. I mean, 456, it has a court system, its own indigenous court system. So you're exempt from taxes. Is you know.
A lot of people don't know that, though.
Exactly.
See, a lot of people don't know what you just explained. You said 456?
456, adjudicated by the indigenous court.
Adjudicated by the indigenous court, and those indigenous people is tax exempt.
And that's us. Everybody, everyone of color.
See, but people don't know that. First of all, people have to become intelligent about what Form 56 is and what is indigenous. Some people say, well, I don't understand what the indigenous is. What are you talking about? You understand what I'm saying? See, so people are not informed on different things that can help them financially. They think that, well, you have to do what everybody else is doing. Well, this is what everybody else is doing, really. Well, everybody else is suffering. Because right now, a lot of people are in hardship. They really are, mentally and physically and financially. So what are we going to do to make those changes?